Sometimes I want something that's going to help me just slowly make that transition into the day. So we start off with floor poses, very gentle floor poses. Start off on the floor, just scanning the body, and then rotating certain body parts just to get those joints, to wake up those joints, wake up the body. And then we just move into stretching the larger body parts, and then move from the floor, from floor work, eventually up into the last part of the practice, which is standing poses, a few standing poses, and then end our practice in a mountain pose, ready to face the day, or at least a little more ready to face the day. I call it ease into the morning, ease into the moment, AM yoga, because it's not just for a morning practice. Maybe it's for transitions throughout your day when you need to move from a place of exhaustion or low energy to a place where you have to be more present, more energetic. For this practice, what you'll need is a mat, any props that you may need, blocks, and a blanket if that's helpful to you.
Bring yourself to a reclined position on your mat, legs relaxed. We'll begin our practice in Savasana. Feel the firmness of the ground against your entire back body. There's nothing you have to do right now but be supported by the firm ground beneath you. This can be the first step in waking up, grounding, connecting to the earth, and meeting your body where it is. Breathe. Stretch your arms above your head. Rotate your ankles and feet away from each other in a circular motion. Then rotate your ankles and feet toward each other in the opposite direction. Let that go. Now rotate your wrists and hands toward each other in circles. Then rotate them away from each other in circles. Let that go. Bring your arms back to your sides. Take a deep breath in and gently blow through your lips one time. Now take the back of your hands, your knuckles, and massage your jaw, gently moving your knuckles back and forth along your jawline. This can be helpful to release jaw tension accumulated during the night. And bring your hands back to your sides. And gently turn your head to one side. No straining, be gentle with yourself. Breathe. Turn your head to the opposite side, rotating only as far as your neck can comfortably go right now. Breathe. And bring your head back to a neutral position, the back of your head resting on the mat. Take a deep breath in. On the out breath, bring your right leg to your chest. Clasp your hands around your leg. Breathe into your right hip. Here's where we plant the intention moving forward in this practice of coordinating the body with the breath by breathing deeply into our hips. Take a deep breath in. On the out breath, release your leg back down onto the ground. Take a deep breath in. On the out breath, bring your left leg to your chest. Clasp your hands around your leg. Breathe into your left hip. The temptation in the morning is to jump out of bed, jumpstart our body into moments, and forget about taking our breath with us throughout our day. Here, we practice welcoming our breath deeply into our bodies from the moment we wake up. Take a deep breath in. On the out breath, release your leg back down onto the ground. Breathe in. On the next out breath, bring both your legs into your chest. Hold onto your knees. Breathe deeply into your hip sockets. Plant a seed here, an intention that you will welcome your breath more fully into your body, more and more throughout your day. From this position, begin to rotate your legs in the same direction, clockwise, then counterclockwise. Feel the gentle massage that this brings to the lower back against the mat. Come back to center. Rest here for a moment. Now rotate your legs toward each other in a circular motion. Now rotate your legs away from each other. Come back to center. Holding on to your knees, allow yourself to gently roll over to your right side. Come back up and gently roll over to your left side. Explore rolling from one side to the next at your own pace. Feel how this movement on the mat creates a gentle morning massage of your spine and the muscles of your back against the mat. Come back to center. Release your knees and allow both your feet to come to the ground. Widen the distance between your feet so that they are at the edges of your mat. On an out breath, allow your legs to fall gently over to your right side. It's totally okay if your legs don't fall all the way over on top of each other. Allow them to fall as far as they can comfortably go. Breathe. Bring your legs back to center, feet on the ground. On the out breath, allow your legs to fall gently over to your left side, only to the point that feels comfortable for you. Breathe. Bring your legs back to center, feet on the ground. Breathe. Now roll over into fetal position on your right side. Breathe. Allow yourself to be held, coddled, nourished in fetal pose. Slowly roll onto your back. Then roll over to fetal position on your left side. Breathe. In a fast-paced world, it can seem counterintuitive to lay in fetal when you wish to jumpstart your energy. But a practice like this allows us to wake up in stages, a more intuitive way of moving into an active day. Roll slowly onto your back. Now take your hands and begin to massage your entire body, your chest. You can massage your wrist, your forearms, your arms, your shoulders, your torso, your stomach. Move your hands along your thighs. You may have to bring your knees into your chest to reach your thigh muscles. Massage the front and back of your thighs, your knees, your shins. When you're done massaging your lower body, bring your feet back to the mat. Move your hands up your body to massage your neck and your shoulders, your torso again, and any other areas that need some love. And bring your arms back to your sides. Breathe. Roll over onto your right side into fetal position again. Bring yourself to all fours or to a flat tabletop position on the mat. Feel free to grab a blanket, fold it flat, and place it under your knees if that's helpful for you. Bring yourself into a tabletop position. Check your positioning and alignment in your tabletop. Your knees are directly under your hips, your hands are directly under your shoulders, your back is flat. You can rest the top of your feet on the mat, or the pads of your toes can touch the mat. Cat-cow. On an out breath, tuck your tailbone, tuck your chin, arch your back. On an in breath, lift your tailbone, lift your chin and chest, gaze upward. Move through a few rounds of this at your own pace. Breathe out on cat as you arch your spine upward. Breathing in on cow as you allow your belly to release downward. As you continue to move through and explore your cat-cow, begin to incorporate moving your spine from side to side. Explore circling your spine, allowing your head to lead you and your tailbone to wag along. Gently, intentionally, mindfully awakening your spine. Release the spiraling and come back to a traditional cat-cow movement, simply arching your spine up and down. Come back to a flat back. Bring your big toes together so they touch. Push your torso back so that your buttocks is reaching toward or resting on your calves in child's pose. You can widen the space between your thighs, have your buttocks slightly up in the air like mine if that's more accessible to you. You can have your arms out in front of you with your head resting on the mat, or place one hand over the other like a pillow for your head. Take a few breaths here. Check in with yourself. How are you feeling? How's your energy level? Whatever comes up is okay. Just notice without trying to fix it, without judgment. Meet yourself this morning, in this moment, wherever you are.
Lengthening through your spine, walk your arms over to the right on your mat.
Breathe. So often the world can dictate to us how we're supposed to be in the morning, how we're supposed to meet the day. But it's important to check in to see how we're truly feeling in the morning, the moment. Come back to center. Rest here for a moment. Slowly walk your arms over to the left side. Breathe. Checking in with ourselves in the morning gives us vital information about what we may need to supply ourselves with to start the day. Come back to center. Rest. Plant your hands into the mat as you gently bring yourself back into all fours or tabletop. Check your positioning in tabletop. Knees under your hips, hands beneath your shoulders, back is flat. From tabletop, stretch your left leg out behind you. Anchor the ball of your foot or just your toe pads into the mat, whichever is accessible to you.
Keeping your left leg straight, slightly push your torso back, creating a gentle stretch in the back of your calf and the bottom of your foot. Play with moving back and forth, pushing off the ball of your left foot, gently exploring the calf and foot stretch that this movement creates.
Let that go and bring your left leg back to tabletop. Stretch your right leg out behind you, resting the ball of your foot or your toe pads onto the mat. Move your body forward then backwards, gently exploring the stretch and movement on this side. Let that go. Bring your right leg back into tabletop. Stretch your left leg out behind you, lifting it off the ground. Lengthen out through the left leg. Breathe, stretch, and lengthen. Bring your left leg back into table or all fours. Stretch your right leg out behind you, lifting it off the ground. Lengthen through the right leg. Support yourself through your arms and the palms of your hands, planting into the mat. Breathe, stretch, and lengthen. Bring your right leg back into table. Now from tabletop, push yourself back so that you're sitting upright, buttocks resting on your heels. Now sitting like this creates discomfort. You can come completely onto your knees or find your way to a seated position. Give your wrists and hands a massage. Put your palms together and move them in a wave-like motion. Interlace your fingers and stretch out your hands. Give your wrists and hands a massage some more. Move your palms in a wave-like motion together. Interlace your fingers and stretch out your hands some more. Slowly find your way back to all fours. Extend your left leg back behind you and reach your right arm forward into bird dog pose. Balance in bird dog pose. If it's more accessible to you, instead of coming into the full lift, you can slightly touch your toe or toe pads of your left foot and your fingertips of your right hand to the ground. Breathe. Bring your left leg and right hand back to tabletop. Extend your right leg back behind you and reach your left arm out in front of you. Find your balance again in bird dog pose. Modified version is okay here, keeping your toes and fingertips touching the mat. It's totally okay. Breathe. Bring your right leg and left hand back into tabletop. Find your way to a simple seated pose. Legs crossed or stretched out in front of you. Whichever works for you. Ground down into the mat through your sits bones. Lengthen up through your spine and neck. Allow the crown of your head to touch or kiss the sky above you. Stretch your legs out in front of you if they aren't there already. And pull your right foot into your body into a half Baddha Konasana pose and massage your right foot. If it feels better for you to sit with your back against a wall or a stable piece of furniture for support, please feel free to do that. We're going to spend some time massaging our feet. Yep, they hold us up, support our entire body structure. Massage your right foot. This can increase blood flow to our feet, but also create a practice of mindfulness about our feet, the part of us that is most in contact with the earth throughout our day, and therefore an important focal point for grounding from moment to moment during the day. Extend your right leg back out in front of you. Pull your left foot into your body into a half Baddha Konasana and massage your left foot. Now bring both of your legs into your body, allowing the bottoms of your feet to touch in full Baddha Konasana. If your feet don't touch, that's okay. Bring them as close together as comfortable for you. Breathe. Whether you're sitting against something for support or not, be mindful of your alignment. Breathe into full Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. Breathe into your hips. Butterfly pose at this point in our practice can be a metaphor for moving from a place of sleep, cocooning, to a place of awakening, opening ourselves to the day and to the moment. Bring your legs into a cross-legged seated position. If it feels better for you, you can extend your legs out in front of you as a variation. Rotate your shoulders back in a circular motion. Now rotate your shoulders forward in a circular motion. Let that movement go. Now gently circle your head around clockwise, loosening up the neck. Then counterclockwise. Now alternate between clockwise and counterclockwise at your own pace according to your own needs. You can also do this movement where you're back up against a wall or you're back against a stable piece of furniture. Gently rotating your head clockwise then counterclockwise at your own pace. If your back is up against a wall or a stable piece of furniture, feel free to give yourself a back massage by rubbing your back against the wall or surface. Let that movement go. Let's gently begin to take flight this morning in this moment. On the in-breath, raise your arms above your head, palms come together or as close as comfortable. On the out-breath, lower your arms back to your sides. On the in-breath, raise your arms above your head, palms come together. On the out-breath, lower your arms back to your sides. On the in-breath, raise your arms above your head, palms come together or as close as comfortable. On the out-breath, lower your arms back to your sides. Bring your wrists to your knees, palms open and facing upward. Slowly find your way to all fours or tabletop pose. You can flex your feet, bringing the pads of your toes or the balls of your feet into the mat. Push your body back slightly like you're going into child's pose. Plant your hands into the mat. Feel the grounding of the pads of your toes into the mat as you lift your sits bones into the air, coming into downward dog. Slightly bend at your knees. Gently walk your dog, alternately stretching the back of each leg. From downward dog, you can either walk your hands to your feet to a forward fold, or you can walk your feet to your hands, coming into a forward fold, whichever works for you. In forward fold, your feet should be hip distance apart. You can slightly bend at the knees. And you can allow your fingertips to touch the ground, or you can rest your hands on your shins, your thighs, or grab a block and rest your hands on that. On the in-breath, lift into a half forward fold. Out-breath, release back into full forward fold. On the next in-breath, raise your torso, flat back, hands come together, or as close as comfortable above your head. On an out-breath, lower your palms into namaste, hands in front of your heart. We are on our feet now, but we're still in the practice of easing into the moment. So we can take this moment to remember to check in with ourselves, our heart, be easy and compassionate with ourselves, and take our breath with us into each movement and therefore each moment. Release your hands to your sides into mountain pose or Tadasana. Pressing the ball of your right foot into the mat, gently circle your ankle clockwise, then counterclockwise. Same with your left foot. Shake out your right foot and the left foot alternating at your own pace. Gently shake out your shoulders and your arms. Lightly jump up and down in place if that works for you. Blow through your lips and settle back on into your mountain pose. In mountain pose, alignment, allow your feet to be hip bone distance apart, toes face forward. The tip of your tailbone points toward the ground. Extend through your legs without locking your knees. Lengthen through your spine, soften your shoulders. Allow your neck to be free, lengthening up to the crown of your head. On the next in-breath, raise your arms above your head into namaste hands. On the next out-breath, lower your hands into namaste hands in front of your heart. On the next in-breath, raise your arms above your head, palms come together. On the next out-breath, swan dive forward into a standing forward bend. Slightly bend at the knees. Feel free to rest your hands on your shins, your thighs, or fingertips on the ground or a block, whatever works for you. On the in-breath, flat back, come up halfway. On the out-breath, come back into standing forward bend. On your next in-breath, plant your fingertips or palms into the mat and step your right foot back into a lunge. Pivot your back foot into a 45 to 90 degree angle. Anchor your back heel into the ground, helicopter your arms up into a warrior two. Warrior two alignment. Front leg is bent at a 90 degree angle or close to it. Heels of your feet are in a line. Torso is slightly facing the right side of your mat. Relax your shoulders, gaze over the fingers of your left hand. Helicopter your right hand forward into a lunge, pivoting onto the ball of your back foot. From your lunge, bring your right leg forward to meet your left leg in standing forward bend. On an in-breath, come up halfway. On an out-breath, release into standing forward bend. On the next in-breath, raise your torso flat back, hands come together above your head. Lower your palms into namaste, hands in front of your heart. On an in-breath, raise your arms above your head, palms come together. On an out-breath, swan dive forward into a standing forward bend. Slightly bend at the knees. An in-breath, come up halfway. On an out-breath, come back into standing forward bend. On an in-breath, plant your fingertips or palms into the mat. Step your left foot back into a lunge. Pivot your back foot into a 45 or 90 degree angle. Anchor your heel into the ground. Helicopter your arms up into warrior two. Again, alignment in warrior two. Front leg is bent at close to a 90 degree angle. Heels of your feet are in a line. Torso slightly facing the left side of your mat. Relax your shoulders. Gaze over the fingers of your right hand. Be a mindful warrior. Mindful of taking care of you. Helicopter your left hand forward into a lunge. Pivot on the ball of your back foot. From a lunge, bring your left leg forward to meet your right in standing forward bend. On an in-breath, come up halfway. On the out-breath, come back into standing forward bend. On the next in-breath, raise your torso flat back, hands come together above your head. On the out-breath, lower your hands into namaste, hands in front of your heart. On the next in-breath, raise your arms above your head, palms come together. On the next out-breath, swan dive forward into a standing forward bend. On the in-breath, come up halfway. On the out-breath, release back into standing forward bend. On your in-breath, plant your fingertips or palms into the mat. Step your right foot back into a lunge. Pivot your back foot into a 45 to 90 degree angle. Anchor your heel into the ground as you walk your hands up your front leg, lifting your torso. On the in-breath, lift your arms into Warrior One. Breathe here. Warrior One alignment. Front leg is bent at a 90 degree angle or close to that. Heel of your front foot is in line with the back heel. Reach your tailbone to the earth. Torso facing forward, gaze forward. Modification, you can rest your hands on your thigh, on your hips. Breathe in. On an out-breath, reach forward as you walk your hands back down to your left leg into a lunge. Pivot on the ball of your back foot. Step your right foot forward to meet the left. Standing forward bend. On an in-breath, come up into a half forward bend. On the out-breath, release forward. On an in-breath, raise your torso flat back, hands come together above your head. Lower your palms into Namaste, hands in front of your heart. On an in-breath, raise your arms above your head, palms come together. On an out-breath, swan dive forward into a standing forward bend. Come up into a half forward bend, release back into standing forward bend. On your next in-breath, plant your fingertips or palms into the mat. Step your left foot back into a lunge. Pivot on the back foot so that you're at a 45 to 90 degree angle. Walk your hands up your front leg, lifting your torso. On an in-breath, lift your arms into Warrior One. Breathe here. Warrior One alignment. Front leg is bent at a 90 degree angle or close to that. Heel of your front foot is in a line with the back heel. Reach your tailbone to the earth, torso facing forward, gaze forward. Again, modifications if you need them. Hands resting on your thigh or on your hips. Take a nice deep breath in. On an out breath, reach your torso forward as you walk your hands down your right leg into a lunge. Pivot on the ball of your back foot and step your back foot forward to meet your right into standing forward bend. On an in-breath, come up halfway. On an out-breath, back into standing forward bend. On an in-breath, raise your torso, flat back, hands come together above your head. Lower your palms into Namaste, hands in front of your heart. Release your arms to your side into mountain pose. We're coming to the end of our practice. Let's seal our intention to take care of ourselves this morning, in this moment. In a world that can be chaotic, we can choose to not always rush out of bed, but to ease into the moments of our morning, our day, more often, whenever possible. Now take this moment to mindfully and safely move in any way that feels good to you. Shake out your limbs, rotate your shoulders, blow through your lips. Reach your arms into the air and stretch out your torso from one side to the other. Shake your shoulders gently. Do whatever stretching or movement you feel you need for your own body. And reground in your mountain pose. Bring your palms to your heart. Make a commitment here to continue throughout your day to breathe into the moments. Continue your practice of breathing and easing into the moment, easing into the day, and being easy with yourself.